Okay, pilots of the Emperor's Hammer TIE Corps, welcome to the second episode of the TIE Pilot Podcast. This is Colonel Zekk Terrik, and I'm here with Lieutenant Commander Jack Wynand. Say hi, Jack.
Hello, folks.
And joining us tonight to discuss the history of Sin Squadron is Colonel Antiel. Hello, Hav.
Hello there.
Hi, thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, before we jump into that, Hav, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've done in the TIE Corps and also how you found the TIE Corps even in the first place?
Sure, that's a great question. I started out as a flight member in Epsilon Squadron, and I guess before that I had to find the Emperor's Hammer TIE Corps, and even though I was playing the X-Wing series way back in the 90s, I didn't find this group until 2014 when I was Googling Star Wars Imperial ranks, and I couldn't find any kind of consistent system until I found one system that seemed to make a lot of sense, and I found that it was the TIE Corps and the kind of system that was created here. So signed up. I was put in Epsilon Squadron on the Hammer, flew there as a flight member and a flight leader, and then was a squadron commander there briefly, and then moved over to the Warrior, as all great pilots do.
Of course.
And commanded Sin for some time, and then moved on to be the Commodore of the Warrior, and now I'm back commanding a squadron again with Mighty Row Squadron.
Why exactly were you Googling Imperial ranks in the first place?
Oh, that's a good question. It's because I'm a nerd.
Okay, I guess I could have answered that one.
Yeah.
Jack, how did you end up finding the TIE Corps, and fill us in a little bit on what you've done so far?
So, I had been playing a lot of TIE Fighter. I was having a lot of fun in that game, and I was only, I think, 2 battles in when I realized, at the rate I'm going, I'm going to beat this game, and then I'm going to need more. This isn't enough. And I was looking around. I think I just searched mods, or maybe it was custom battles or levels for Star Wars TIE Fighter, and that brought up one of the pages on the Emperor's Hammer website, not specifically the TIE Corps one, but the slightly more rugged looking one that has the IWAT stuff, and anyway.
Yeah, that's from the early 2000s. Has been updated in 20 years.
Yeah, that one. And so I found the custom battles. I found that fascinating. I'm like, oh, I want to get in on this. And also wanted, I didn't really have any friends in real life, so I decided to try and join, figuring it would be a fun experience. I could meet some people to play games with, and the rest is history.
And apparently record podcasts with.
Yeah, that was not the original. I wasn't really thinking of that when I joined, but, never know where you end up.
Alrighty, so I'll move on to myself a little bit. I found the TIE Corps it was about 2000. Before that, I had been really active in Star Wars groups on Westwood Chat, which later became Westwood Online. Westwood Studios are the guys who made Command & Conquer and Red Alert, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I had been playing on their ladder system a lot, and I'm not really sure how this even started before I ever got there, but there was at least a couple dozen Star Wars clubs on Westwood Chat. And after I got off Westwood Chat, I was still looking for the same experience. And I actually met somebody on Westwood Chat who later became the operations officer, I think, when that was a command staff position. That was the person that issued all the medals and stuff. And that was Fleet Admiral Hallader. I think that's his name. I don't know. I've never said it. I've just seen it. Fleet Admiral Hallader kind of took me over here to the TIE Corps. I joined Psi Squadron on Wing 2 of the Warrior, or of the Sovereign, excuse me. Wing 2 of the Sovereign, and I was in Psi for quite a while. I had a brief stint as a commander of Pi Squadron on the Colossus before coming back to Wing 2 because I really like the Wing Commander, Steele, who is actually still on the Discord, and in fact even came to my high school graduation because he lives in LA.
Really?
Yeah, he
Wow.
was only 2 or 3 years older than me, and yeah, he came to my high school graduation.
Zekk, I didn't know that you graduated high school. That's great.
Yeah, I didn't graduate junior high, but we did graduate high school. It's weird. Anyway, yeah, then I commanded Theta Squadron, and then got all the way up to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel, which I held for 16 years and some odd days while I was in the reserves, before coming back to take over Sin last December.
Yeah. It was about that.
With the beautiful and talented Jack Wynand. And then I made Colonel, I think last month sometime, about 6 weeks ago. And yeah, here we are now. So we wanted to cover the history of Sin Squadron. So I think Hav knows that better than any of us. So Hav, why don't you tell me what was Sin Squadron like flying those horrid missile boats back in the day? Tell me what it was like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was kind of a relic from the early days of the TIE Corps, because the missile boat is in all of those, TIE Fighter and XVT missions. It's just all over the place.
I hate missile boats with that single cannon.
Yeah, and it takes forever to recharge. Yeah.
I thought they were all right.
If you want to bomb the shit out of something, that's of course, but I don't know. They're too slow and lumbering for me too.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard to see. It's hard to fly a fighter that has its closest resemblance to a shuttle.
Good point.
All right. So what was Sin Squadron like as soon as you took over?
Yeah. Go ahead. What's your question?
Who was your Commodore?
When I first started, my Commodore was Pete Mitchell. Yeah. When I moved over from Epsilon, I took over for Sin because Lan had been commanding the squadron, I think, kind of as a placeholder for a bit, because he's kind of our go-to guy on the Warrior for that, kind of taking over a squad that needs a commander really badly until we find someone. So yeah, it was Pete, and then very quickly after that he became the TIE Corps commander, and then it was Pliff. So let me just think here. One of the things I really was interested in when I was Sin commander was trying to figure out what Sin was like before it was reactivated in 2014. So for the people listening who don't know, the Warrior was reactivated or actually activated in March of 2014 with 3 ships that came over from the Hammer. And when those squadrons were getting full, they activated a 4th squadron. That was Sin. And do you guys know who was the very first commander of the reactivated Sin?
Was it me? It wasn't me, was it?
It was Pliff, actually.
Boy,
That's
Pliff
what
really
I
gets around,
thought.
doesn't he?
Yeah, Captain Pliff at the time. Yeah, who came back from the reserves to kind of make his way back through the ranks again, because he had been some kind of admiral at some point and wanted to make his way back through the line ranks. So yeah, Pliff kind of, there's a whole bunch of history back when Sin was on the Sovereign, which I think is the super Star Destroyer. Is that the actual?
I think it's Sovereign class Super Star Destroyer.
I like to think that it's the super Star Destroyer, but that's probably actually correct, Zach. Sovereign class, yeah.
SD. Okay.
I couldn't find a whole lot in looking back through the old documents. I was able to find some signatures on some of the old IU courses when they listed who had completed it, to find that names like Mauser and Carl Lost and Enzo Matrix and Viper Pred and Kyle Fardreamer and Ramos Kansko were commanders, but I couldn't find a whole lot of, like, Carl Lost, I think, is a perfect name because I have no idea how long he was in office. That data is Carl Lost, for lack of a funnier term. So most of what I know about, yeah, most of what I know about Sin is just from 2014 on. So Cliff was in command for a while, and Sin was looking really strong in Raise the Flag. And my fun fact is that my very first TIE Corps activity ever, like the first thing I ever did before I flew a mission, was I designed the first patch for Sin Squadron for a competition.
Is that the one with the flaming skull?
That's the one with the flaming skull, yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I like that. I'm looking at it in the wiki right now. It looks like the longest serving commander was Kyle Fardreamer, who has Ernham beat by a week.
Yeah, it's funny, right?
And has Cliff beat by a week too. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you were the commander of Sin when I joined.
That's right. That's right, yeah.
Jack, how long have you been around? It's like a couple years, right?
Oh, yeah. It was my first year of college, December or January, I think, that I joined up because it was over my winter break that I'd started playing TIE Fighter. It was like, yeah, I guess it was very early 2018. Let me see if I can find the welcome email.
All right, while you're doing that, so I'll cover a little bit about how we got to where we are now. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
Okay, it was a little later than that. I got my welcome email from Hav on April 12th, 2018. So not really early 2018, but you get the idea.
Wow, yeah, it's like 2.5 years already, just about. Right on. All right, well, I'll get to where we are now. So like I said, I took over in December last year. And the first thing I did is I hadn't been a commander in, 16, 17 years. So I reached out to Hav, who was the Commodore at the time. And if I remember correctly, he didn't answer me for like a week because like his car broke down or something in Chicago, or I don't remember where you were, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in the Outer Rim.
That's right. Damn Sam people. Yeah, anyway, I had just nice one, Zekk, taken over Sin Squadron from Ernham. And I remember the first thing I noticed when I looked at the rosters, we had a guy who had been a sub-lieutenant for 9 months. And I was like, all right, this is going to be a challenge. So I spent a moment getting to know everybody and kind of engaging and seeing where everybody lived, so we could plan stuff and try to figure out, what we could do as a team. And I remember I didn't even really go look at the Sin roster before I accepted the position, because if I remember, Theta Squadron was open at that time too. And I was just like, yeah, whatever, give me a squadron, I don't care. Sin. And so anyway, I got assigned to Sin. And I finally went and looked at the roster, and then I was like, holy crap, we are flying a missile boat. Which is like the Y-wing of the Imperial Navy. No, that's like the TIE bomber, I guess. But anyway. So I remember our first opportunity to kick some real butt was in the squadron mobilization competition, which I think was March. Yeah, it was March. Because I spent the first weekend of it in Arizona with family, so I completely missed everything. And I remember, I think like a week and a half into the competition, we were getting our butts kicked pretty good. If I remember, we were in like 4th place out of the 6 squadrons, and Epsilon was just killing us, or killing everybody, not just us. So I remember I sent out an email, and I think we got on Discord. And Jack, I know you were there. We did all the crap. And I was like, okay, Cormy, I know you do a lot of IU courses. Can you do some? And, Ernham, just keep doing what you're doing, because you get like 200, legions every month. So just Ernham can just keep doing what he's doing. And we all basically just kind of shared the load to figure out a way to win. And I remember, if I remember correctly, like 2 weeks later, we had completely won the whole thing a week before anybody else even got close. Because I know Epsilon, even though they kicked our butts pretty pretty seriously there in the beginning. They really slowed down towards the end of the competition. They did finally hit their 10 tasks, but they had really slowed down, which had let us catch up. And I remember like I did just to have one task done, I did the 4,000 word fiction all in one night.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was quite a bender I went on.
Yeah, I was kind of between a rock and a hard place because all my classes were starting to pick up their pace in preparation for the middle of the semester.
Yeah, midterms, always in March.
Yeah, not quite midterms, like all the stuff right before midterms. I don't know. It's hard to put into words.
So part of our reward for getting 10 tasks accomplished, actually I think we got like 11 or 12 accomplished. I know we had more than anyone. Was we got to pick a new ship, and we could change our objective. We could also change our name, which nobody even, we were like, no, we love the name, forget it. I remember I was looking at the ships, trying to see, I was looking in the science office manual, I can't remember what it's called, the fleet manual, I think. And I was like, man, I was looking at the specs for the TIE Protector, and I was like, okay, I want that ship, but I want it to look like a TIE Praetor, because the TIE Praetor looks really cool. It looks like a TIE Defender, or a TIE Advance, excuse me, with black paint and like a glowing red cockpit, and it was very scary looking.
Oh yeah. I really liked the look of the TIE Phantom though. Something about it it's very striking.
Was that the one that kind of looked like a bat or something almost? Or what am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Batman, Zekk, the Batwing.
Oh yeah, I always have that issue.
No, it looked
TIE
like
Phantom, that's the three-winged ship with cloaking, right?
yeah, like the F-117 of Imperial craft.
Ooh, yeah, that does look. It's got. I just brought it up on the fleet manual. It's got like three almost right angle, like dagger looking point.
Yeah,
dagger looking points.
Well, there's one image of it that I think was what kind of sold me on it, where it's on Wikipedia and it shows a squadron of them, and the cockpit glass is like this sort of magenta color that just sort of it bursts out, and it just makes me think of like a vampire or something.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Some sort of night creature that you just want to stay the hell away from.
So I'm looking at the TIE Protector right now, and this is basically, what we did was we took a TIE Protector and we basically slapped a TIE Praetor paint job on it. I won't lie. And actually, Jack, you were the person, if I remember correctly, who came up with the first, prototype design of the TIE Sinister.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we basically were allowed to make our own custom fighter, which is flown only by Sin Squadron because they're insanely expensive, so presumably we can only afford 12.
Yeah.
Complete with a cup holder and air conditioning, so we can kill in comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting task because when someone made the offer to turn a TIE Protector into a TIE Sinister, I was a little gun shy at first because I thought it was going to involve actually reskinning an in-game model.
Oh yeah, no, that's far too much work. We're way too lazy for that.
Oh, and I would have done it, or I would have been willing to, but again, with school. And then I was told that all I had to do was, reskin an image for the craft manual or something. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and for the website too, I believe.
Yeah.
So anyway, we won competition in March, and that's how we got our ship. We got our own custom designed ship. So not only do you have a little history of Sin Squadron, you got a little history of the TIE Sinister too. Much more comfortable than a TIE Interceptor. The cup holder and the air conditioning really makes
I won't argue with that. That is definitely true.
So the next thing that we were able to do, I need to stop saying so much, is I think when was Imperial Storm? Was that July? Or it was like late June to July? Something like that.
Yeah. June, July.
So in Sin Squadron, once again in Imperial Storm, we were kicking butt there too. And we did a lot of, I remember for one free mission that we flew, basically, if I remember correctly, Rando broke the high score, then broke his own high score, then broke his own high score again. So for just one, for those of you who don't know, Rando is the flight leader of Flight 2 in the Sin Squadron, and it's probably right now the best single player pilot that TIE Corps has. The guy is just regularly setting high scores. It's absolutely insane, and he set quite a few during the Imperial Storm competition, which the Warrior won. I want to point out. Sorry, Hammer, folks. Well, I think does that wrap it up for us? Have anything to add?
Yeah, if people are interested, Rando has some really interesting videos on YouTube where he breaks down some of his high score attempts. It's really fascinating stuff. I'm going to look it up right now, see if I can find the name of the channel.
Yeah, I think he actually sent it to me in the past. I remember watching I think an XVT game that he played, and boy, I'll never be that good. It doesn't matter how often I try. Jack, anything to add while he's looking that up before we take off?
Not really, except I'm looking at this picture of the TIE Sinister, and I realize for whatever reason, the color scheme kind of reminds me of a cave spider.
Oh, from Minecraft?
Yeah, it's something about I don't know what it is. That's sort of, I know it's weird, because when I edited the image, I know for a fact that there are no blue tones in it, but on the website, it looks almost like a very dark grayish blue, and then that with the red lighting.
Or cave spiders? They're like green or something, right?
No, they're dark blue and with red eyes.
Oh, okay.
So if you're interested in checking out Rando's channel on YouTube, where he breaks down some of his high score attempts and some of the intricacies of the different game engines, his channel is called Random Starfighter with a space in between. Random Starfighter. Highly recommended.
Yeah, it's really good. If you guys want to pick up some tips just watching it, he's absolutely helpful. I don't know if Randall will teach you a course. Maybe he will. But feel free to DM him and annoy him. You have my permission.
Worth asking.
Yeah, it can't hurt. All righty. Well, thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm sure you'll be back. I would count on it.
Yeah, I'd love to be back. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening to episode 2 of the TIE Pilot Podcast and learning about the history of Sin Squadron. And that's a wrap. We'll catch you guys for episode 3 in the future. I have no idea what the topic's going to be, but we got a few ready, so we'll pick one. And I'm going to go put your Iron Star in the metal queue right now.
Yeah. Only reason I did it.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I think John
for the shinies.
John just clicks and approves whatever. He's not even paying attention. It's fine.
Go Gold Star then.
Hey, Platinum.
Why not?
Only the best for you. Alrighty, that's a wrap. Bye-bye, everybody.
Goodbye, folks.